Wow. Okay, I'm a little overwhelmed, but good morning. So, gosh, last year Orville and I spoke together, and so I'm really nervous this morning to be out here by myself. Thank you. Thank you. I've had a lot on my mind the last few weeks, just like most of you. And this is a huge event to plan for. And so I've half written 3 talks because I wasn't exactly sure what to say this year. And Bobby Barber, are you out there? Woo! Bobby Barber, a Scentsy consultant from Alabama, has been in touch with me daily. She would send me little pictures, 17, 16, 15, reminding me how many days we had left for Convention reunion. And she would check in to see if I had my talk ready. And I kept telling her, no talk. And so she offered to write me a talk. So I just want to thank Bobby, because she actually did write me a talk. And so I'm going to hold on to it for next year. So 10 years is a big deal. And it's a lot of pressure to come up with the exact message that I want to share that would commemorate and celebrate Scentsy. I've been thinking about our reunion theme, Show Me Scentsy Spirit. Woohoo! And about how important Scentsy Spirit is to all of us. So today, I want to talk about what Scentsy Spirit means to me right now. I've been taking a lot of notes to get ready for this talk. A lot. And I usually take notes right on my phone, since I always have it with me. And one of the things that I wrote down was the phrase, contagious optimism and goodness. And it was something that I thought I picked up from the movie The Fault in Our Stars. And I had gone to see this movie with my daughter Emma. And this film is about teens dealing with cancer and young love. The story made me think about optimism, hope, and life in a different way. And Orville and I talked about the concept of contagious optimism for weeks after I had seen the movie. And it even made it on the director call. He thought it was such a great message, he talked about it on the director call. But when I searched for contagious optimism and goodness and The Fault in Our Stars, I couldn't find the quote anywhere. So I said, hey, Orville, you need to come to the movies with me so that I can get the context of the quote. So we both cried a lot. But the funny thing is, got to the end of the movie, and the quote, contagious optimism and goodness, wasn't anywhere in the movie. So, note to self, if you're going to take notes on your phone, you might want to jot down the reference. So, when I saw the movie with Orville, I was inspired by the characters and the message that they shared. And one line in the movie specifically touched my heart. So, without trying to spoil the movie for you, for those of you that haven't seen it, one of the main characters, Augustus Waters, says, "I'm on a roller coaster that only goes up, my friend." And that struck me as such a positive thing to say, especially in his circumstance. Augustus is acknowledging that his life is difficult, but he's going up in a positive direction. Even in his darkest hours, he is optimistic. With the movie, The Fault in Our Stars, on my mind, I saw a July 4th post by Scentsy Consultant Sarah Hudson from Maine. And she had just seen the movie also. And I'm sure she bawled and cried like I did. But that post caught my attention because I had just seen the movie. So I thought, I'm going to go to her wall and just check it out. And so I noticed on July 3rd that Sarah had made a post that in the middle of a storm on a dark night, a firefly started flying around in the room. And funny thing is, I've been thinking about fireflies as well. So I couldn't help but find that a bit more coincidental. There is such a connection between Augustus in The Fault in Our Stars, who is full of hope during a dark time, and that firefly glowing on a dark and stormy night. It is inspiring to see optimism during difficulties, just as it is inspiring to see fireflies in the darkness. Did the same things that inspired me to talk about Scentsy Spirit inspire Sarah? About contagious optimism and hope and the meaning of fireflies. Personally, I've never seen a firefly. We don't have them in the Northwest where I grew up. I know, I've missed out. But I love them and what they symbolize to me. Childlike wonder, optimism, hope, and light. They carry light within them, and they shine in the darkness. Chasing fireflies reminds us to be in the moment, even as adults, to pursue and embrace a childlike sense of wonder in the world. We felt a childlike wonder when we first started Scentsy in 2004. We were full of hope and optimism for the future. I remember superstar director Diane Dreyer had set her sights on earning a $10,000 check, something that she had never done before in direct sales. And she was excited to see that childlike wonder, we were excited to see her childlike wonder as she earned that 5-figure commission check. Woo! So childlike wonder leads to a sense of optimism. Somewhere along the way, we forget to look at the world like we do as children. As adults, sometimes it takes a small reminder, like a movie or a firefly, to remind us how much hope surrounds us every day. When you become aware of all of the miracles in the world and look upon them with the eyes of a child, you begin to believe that life is awesome, that it causes feelings of awe. You begin to see things in a positive way. So there's a great story that illustrates the power of optimism. Once, there were identical twin boys, one a pessimist and one an optimist. To balance their personalities, the boy's parents gave the pessimist amazing toys for his birthday, and they gave the optimist a box of manure. So the boys opened their presents in separate rooms. The pessimist complained about every toy. I bet this will break. I don't like this game. I know someone who has a bigger toy car. So tiptoeing across the hallway, the parents peeked in and saw their little optimist gleefully throwing the manure up in the air. And he was giggling. And he said, "You can't fool me. Where there's this much manure, there's got to be a pony." I don't want to take optimism too far. Optimists do have bad days and disappointments. Being optimistic is not the same as whitewashing issues and problems. And I hate making mistakes, especially when they affect all of you. I want them fixed as fast as anyone, and I certainly don't mind being told what we can do better. You don't have to be a pessimist to affect positive change. In fact, studies show that optimists get more done. Optimists don't get depressed over mistakes. They learn from them and they move forward. In his book, The Power of Optimism, best-selling author and therapist Alan Loy McGinnis gives 12 characteristics of optimists, and I'm going to just share a few with you. They believe that they have control over their futures and are not victims. They believe they can stretch to meet challenges. They are cheerful even when they are not happy, and perhaps most importantly, they can interrupt their negative trains of thought. I love the last one because it shows that optimism is a choice. I can have negative thoughts, but I can push them away and focus on something else. And didn't watching that boy in that cute commercial just make you feel optimistic? So that's what I mean by contagious optimism. When we surround ourselves with positive messages and positive people, we become more positive and optimistic. Even if some of us have to work a little harder than others, we can all be optimistic about our futures and our lives. How many of you heard about the Facebook study that was done, actually on people who didn't know what was being done, and the impact of negative and positive messages? Did you guys hear about that? Okay, so for 1 week in 2012, Facebook changed the algorithm in the news feeds of 700,000 users so that some people saw more negative posts. After a week, those people posted more negative themselves. And so this study illustrates the concept of priming. When you're exposed to positive or negative attitudes, posts, events, or even people, you become more attuned to them. As this study shows, you start to mirror them or model them. It's like when you buy a new car and suddenly you notice how many of them are on the road. You've been primed to recognize them. That's why it's so important to practice optimism until it becomes second nature, so that you aren't sucked in by the doom and gloom messages that are pervasive everywhere in the network news, social media, and newspapers. But the concept of priming goes way deeper than Facebook studies or car recognition. Priming proves that we're all connected to each other, that the thoughts and attitudes of others can influence us, and that we, in turn, influence others. We are all affected by everything around us, and we are all connected. A documentary that I watched recently, and I recommend it, it's a great documentary, titled I Am, makes this point so beautifully. I Am was written and directed by Tom Shadyac, the writer and director of those funny, crazy movies like Ace Ventura, Bruce Almighty, and many other award-winning movies. After suffering a head injury that stripped him of his will to live, he started a journey to answer the question, is there a problem that causes all other problems? He set out to make a documentary to find out two things: what's wrong with the world and what can be done about it. Shadyac interviewed scientists, philosophers, poets, and leaders. And instead of answering these questions, Shadyac discovered there's more right with the world than he ever imagined. He learned that the heart may be the most important organ of intelligence, not the brain, and that human consciousness and emotions can actually affect the physical world, proving that we are deeply connected to each other. I Am made so many things clear to me as I was thinking about what message I could leave with you today. Childlike wonder, priming, contagious optimism, connection, and hope. So it isn't the wisest, the strongest, the most aggressive, or the loudest that keeps the herd moving. It's their connection to each other and their cooperation. Just as those red deer move together, so should we. The Fault in Our Stars, the Facebook study, the I Am documentary. They are all so different, yet they all point to one thing: connection. Young adults are connected despite their circumstances and fall in love. All of us on Facebook are connected in ways that go beyond social media that can affect our attitudes and emotions. Our world is connected not just by technology, but also possibly by the very electricity of our heartbeats. And symbolically speaking, our hearts are the center of feelings of love and kindness. Love and kindness connect us to each other. They all allow us to feel optimistic, contagiously optimistic about the world and our place in it. Just as the red deer are safer when they cooperate and travel together, Our human connection to each other allows us to feel safe. And when we feel safe and whole, loved and cared for, we can practice contagious optimism and spread our sense of childlike wonder far and wide. We can have hope for the future. So I've mentioned hope a few times this morning. Hope and optimism go hand in hand, but they don't mean the same thing. The dictionary defines hope in two ways, as a noun and as a verb. Looking at the verb hope, we can see that it means to look forward to with desire and reasonable confidence, or to believe, desire, or trust. But hope is so much more than that. Hope is a virtue. It is more than optimism, and if you are a religious person, it is related to faith. Hope can sustain us through trials, through tragedies or difficulties. It's an anchor that we can cling to. There's a song that I love about hope, written, I'm going to cry, sorry, and sung by Danny Gokey, an American Idol contestant whose wife died 4 weeks before he auditioned for the show. And they had been high school sweethearts, and they had been together for 12 years. She was his biggest supporter. He recently released a new album, Hope in Front of Me, and wrote a book challenging readers to find hope in their darkest moments. His song, Hope in Front of Me, defines hope so much better than a dictionary can. I've seen the dark and broken places, but I know in my soul, no matter how bad it gets, I'll be all right. There's hope in front of me. There's a light, I still see it. There's a hand still holding me, even when I don't believe it. I might be down, but I'm not dead. There's better days still up ahead. Even after all I've seen, there's hope in front of me. I love how this song connects hope and light. It could be the light of faith, the light of optimism, the light of love and kindness that we share through our connection to each other. It could be the light of the simple, elusive fireflies that we love as children, but have to be reminded of as adults. Those fireflies, those tiny points of light, are sources of inspiration because they draw us back to ourselves. They represent what is right in the world. It is never too late to stop and chase the fireflies. I love this article, excerpted from the book, Heart of a Teacher. It encourages all of us to chase and catch the fireflies that are the magical, sparkling moments in our lives, including the people that shine their light for us, just as you all do for me. This is so important that we're going to launch a new website to encourage all of you, your teams back home, and anyone else who is interested to join us on this journey of chasing fireflies. Every day, you can receive a message, a video clip, a quote, or a cartoon to inspire you, to make you think, to create a connection. This is our way of making sure that you are primed every day with messages of optimism and hope. The address for the site is ScentsySpirit.com, and it will launch today. Woo! If you all love it, use it and share it. We will post daily, or as close to daily as possible, until we meet next year for reunion. I want it to be a place where you can go when you need to remember that the world is full of fireflies, and if we'll only take a few minutes to notice them, they're all around us. And so why is this so important to me? Because fireflies are a symbol of childlike wonder. They remind us to embrace all that is good and magical in the world. They remind us to be optimistic, contagiously optimistic. With that sense of wonder and contagious optimism, we connect each other with kindness and love, and show each other and everyone around us that the world is full of hope. We shine the light of hope and love for all the world to see. We become a heavenly constellation of fireflies to light the path for others, our teammates, our customers, our friends, our families, our communities, and we lead them along the path to childlike wonder. And this is what Scentsy Spirit means to me today, in the symbol of our most beloved star, Scentsy Star. Scentsy Spirit is still about fun and friendship and fragrance. It is still about simplicity, authenticity, generosity, and contributing more than we take. Today, this star is a reminder that as long as we have Scentsy Spirit, our best days are ahead of us. Woo. So we approach our next decade with wonder, love, kindness, hope, and the light of 100,000 fireflies. You! Woo. You are my fireflies. Okay, so now I want you to take your phones out. If you have them, get them out. And when I say the year that you joined Scentsy, I want you to turn on your light and shine it for everyone to see. And we're going to watch Scentsy Spirit illuminate this arena. And when you get home, you will illuminate your corner of the world. Okay, you guys all ready? Got your phones out? Okay, 2004. 2005. 2006. 2007. 2008. Woo, 2009. 2010. 2011. Oh, 2012. 2013. 2014. Cool. Okay, look around. Look at all the fireflies. So as we close, I'd like to leave you with a few verses from the song Hope in Front of Me. Remember to stop and chase the fireflies. Thank you.